Alrighty, good day everybody. Sorry I couldn't be with you today. However, I'm going to give you a quick lesson on what you're supposed to be doing today. You're to be given a handout in class, and the instructions for that handout are as what's coming up in this video, so stay tuned. Let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be dealing with the triangle sum and exterior angle theorem. They're two different theorems, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So you're going to be able to apply both the triangle sum theorem and the exterior angle theorem to find missing values for your angles or possibly for your variables, which a lot of times is just x. Okay, so let's move on. So first, let's go ahead and go right into the do now. Let's go. Probably easier to do it this way. There's going to be a little bit shuffling around, but bear with me. Alright, so we're going to be doing with triangle sum theorem and exterior angle. However, the do now, number one is asking us to find the distance between these two different points. We know we have a distance formula, right? It's equal to x2 minus x1, square that, plus the value of y2 minus y1, and we would square that. Okay, so then we would always identify what are x1 and y1, x2 and y2, and again this can just be put right into your calculator. So subbing our values here, I'm just going to do it right here, kind of small under here. Always building our skeletons. Oops, I didn't mean to put those things in there. So x2 is -1 minus x1 is 3, -3 minus 3. Put this into your calculator and you should get the distance. We're going to round that to our nearest 10, and that should come out to about 7.2. Okay, so alrighty, so classifying each triangle by its angles and sides. Again, we're going to classify angles and sides. So let's look at this first one here. The angle for sure is a 90-degree angle, so that's going to be a right triangle, right? And we see that two sides are congruent, so that means this is also an isosceles triangle. Let's go to the next one here. We see all the angle measures are the same, so this must be that it is equiangular. And by the sides, this is one you probably remember since 5th grade, equilateral, when we're dealing with its sides. Okay? So again, you have access to this. You can pause it and kind of go through those and see, especially in the do now, and more so on the instructional video, which is our next part. Let's go ahead and get that slide ready. All right, so here's the meat of what we're going to be dealing with today. So the two theorems, both the triangle sum theorem and the exterior angle theorem. So let's go through those one by one. So the triangle sum theorem is probably one that most of you probably understand, kind of at least by some form. So this says that, I'm going to change my color here. So the triangle sum theorem states that three angles of any triangle will always add up to 180. Okay, so that 180 part, that's any triangle in the universe, all its angles add up to 180. So when we look at this first triangle here, okay, when we look there, we see, okay, well, those three angles must add up to 180. So I can say this x value, so x degrees, or x angle, plus the 38 angle, plus the angle that equals 117, must equal 180. Right? So we can do our little algebra here and say, well, 38 plus 17, whatever that is, subtract from 180, and we get x equals to 25 degrees to complete the 180. So this here is 25 degrees. Okay. All right, next one here, a little more involved. So same thing, right? All the three angles, even though we're given none of the actual angle numbers or values, are equal to 180. So I can take the first one, which is 2x plus 9, excuse me, 2x minus 9, plus the second one, plus 2x plus 4 in this case, plus the last angle, and set that all equal to 180. All right, so we have 2x's, 4x's, we have 5x's. All right, we have negative 9 plus 4. So that is minus 5 equals 180. A little bit of algebra comes into play here. And we get 5 equals 185. Last step. And we get x equals to 37 degrees. Just like that. All right, we're also supposed to classify them by their sides and their angles. So this first one here is going to be a scalene, because none of the sides are going to be equal, because none of those angles are equal. And it would be a scalene of 2, since that 117 degree angle is there. Over here we have, once we sub in all our values, so I put in 2 times 37 minus 9, this angle here would equal 65 degrees. If I did the same down here, this angle down here would equal 78 degrees when I substitute my x equals 37 into 2x minus plus 4. And then, of course, this is just 37 degrees. So again, we have a scalene. Since none of the angles are equal, that means none of the sides are congruent. So this is a scalene. In this case, all of them are also acute. So we would say that it's in the scalene acute triangle as well. So this is also part of your answer. Okay. All right, moving on. That's how we would talk about the triangle sum theorem in terms of all angles adding up to 180. All right, so the exterior angle theorem. So there's an easier way to solve the problem using the exterior angle theorem. This theorem states that the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two remote interior angles. The remote interior angles are the two angles of the triangle that are not adjacent to the exterior angle. So this whole not adjacent, okay, so not adjacent to the exterior angle. So let's revisit the problem here. So what angle is the exterior angle? So here, let's look at the exterior angle. We'll shade that in blue. All right, so this here is going to be my exterior angle. I'm just going to kind of outline like this instead of shading it. So I'm going to say exterior angle. Okay, that's the angle on the outside, and it makes sense. It's on the outside of the triangle. Next question. All right, what angle is adjacent to the exterior? So this here, this y angle here, that's your adjacent angle. It's adjacent to x. So it's adjacent to x. Okay, which is the exterior angle. Next, it says what angles are not adjacent to the exterior angles? Shade them in green. So again, I'm just going to outline them here, kind of this, really make it, this is obvious that this is green here, right? So shade them in green. These here, these two green ones here, these are what we call our remote, right? This here is called a remote interior angle. I'll write that here, remote interior angle. The remote interior angle. So, and there's two of them there, right? And that means they're remote or they're far away. Remote means far away from the exterior angles. They're the remote interior angles from the exterior. They're the ones not touching the exterior angle. So this basically says the following, that the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two remote angles. Let's put a little angle sign there. So if we look at the exterior angle, in this case is x, right? Our x value is equal to the sum of the two remote angles. So it's 49 degrees plus 67 degrees. So in this case then, our x is equal to, I have that nicely written here somewhere, sorry about that. So 49 plus 67 equals 116 degrees. Okay, so that's how you find the exterior remote angle. Okay, so moving on, let's do a couple examples here of practice problems. Again, you can pause this video as you need to and go back to this part as you fill out your handout. So let's go through a few problems here. I'm going to get this slide. Extra room there. All right, so a little my turn, your turns. Okay, so here it says find x and check the reasonableness of your answer. So again, in this one here, we're looking at triangle sum theorem because we're looking at the interior angles, the three angles, 1, 2, 3, right? Those are the three angles we're looking at. So added up, they must always add up to, we know, 180 degrees. So here, obviously, we have a 90, right? Because that little symbol there, 90 degrees plus 5x minus 2 plus 3x plus 4. Okay, kind of gathering in like terms. I see some x's here. So 5x and 3x, that's 8 x's. All right, I have a 90 degree, 90 minus 2 and plus 4. So 94 so equals positive 92 equals 180 degrees. Okay, so we go ahead and subtract 92 from both sides. Now we get 8x equals 88. Dividing by 8 on both sides, x must equal 11. So subbing our value for 11 just to check the reasonableness of our answer. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do this kind of small here. Up here I have 5 times 11 minus 2. So it's 55 minus 2. That's equal to 53 degrees, which is this one right here. Let's go ahead and do it again down here. We do 3 times 11 plus 4. Right, and this is equal to 37 degrees. And that's what this is here. And that makes sense, right? Because when I add up 53 plus 37 plus 90, it definitely equals 180. So our answer checks out. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Your turn. What I'll do with this one here is I'll include the your turn in the, no, let's just go ahead and do it now. So I'll do this pretty quickly. Again, we're adding all of these three angles, right? The interior angles to add up to 180. So just kind of doing that now, I get 9x minus 8 plus x plus 10 plus x plus 2 equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so all above here I have 11x plus 4 equals 180. I would subtract 4 from both sides. 11x is equal to 176. So dividing now 176 by 11, or dividing 11 on both sides, I get x equals 16 degrees, or x equals 16. Subbing our value for x into all of these, I would say 9 times 16. This one will equal 136 degrees when I sub in 9 times 16 minus 8. So let's see if it works down here. What's 16 plus 2? Well, this will be equal 18 degrees. And over here, it's 16 plus 10. This equals 26 degrees. Adding all those up would yield 180 degrees. So that works as well. Now, these last two problems, again, those first two, they were dealing with the triangle sum theorem. However, the last two that we're going to do together here, and we're going to end after this, and we'll go ahead and take over and do the independent practice. This here is your exterior angle theorem, right? This angle here is sitting on the outside. Here are your two interiors, remote interiors. So remote interiors, right? And then this one underlined here instead is your exterior angle. So I know that this outside angle is equal to these two added together. So when I go ahead and put that, okay, well, it's 8x plus 15 is equal to these other two angles added up. So 4x plus 5x plus 4. Okay, so I would get 8x plus 15, kind of simplifying here, equals 9x plus 4. I'm going to go ahead and do a double move here. I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. Okay, actually just, and then I'm left with 15 is equal to x plus 4. I'll go ahead and last step there, x is equal to 15 minus 4 is 11. Okay, so then you can go and sub in those values and see exactly what this exterior angle is. It would be 8 times 11 plus 15. Right, so this exterior angle is equal to 103 degrees. And I could find the interior angles one by subbing in my values for x if I wanted to as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this one out, last one. This is the your turn. So you would get, you know that exterior angle, which is 5x plus 7 is equal to these two interior angles added together. So when I add up the two interior angles, whoops, so the two interior angles added together are equal to the exterior angle, 5x plus 7. So just kind of simplifying here, I would get 9x plus 5 is equal to 5x plus 7. More like a 5. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5x from both sides. At the same time, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides to get this 5 away from the x value. So now I'm left with, or the x term, I should say, 4x equals 2. I just realized I made a mistake here. I think I did minus 29 and plus 34. So this plus 34 should have been a minus 34, which means all of this here kind of changes up a bit here. Let me go and fix this here. I'm sorry about that. So it's going to just do this here. It's going to start over a little bit. So 6x plus 3x, it's 9x. Negative 29 minus 34. That's not addition, that's subtraction. So I would have a minus 63. Now I go ahead and add this over here. Okay, now I can add 63 on both sides. Okay, and then I can go ahead and say, well, 5x plus 70 is equal to 9x minus 5x minus 5x. I get 4x equals 70, dividing out 4 on both sides. X would equal 17.5. That's how you go. All right, so we'll go ahead and do this here. Alrighty, guys, and that's all we wrote. Go ahead and do the. Let me go ahead and just tell you now. I want you to do all independent practice problems. Turn in by end of class time. Thank you very much. Have a great day.